Metal Gear Solid 5 The Phantom Pain has a huge arsenal of weaponry to choose from, ranging from the small little dinky pistols to the big, huge girthy missile launchers, and everything in between. However, what would the game be like if Venom Snake awoke from his coma and was a pacifist? Let's find out in Can You Beat Metal Gear Solid 5 Without Using Weapons? The rules are quite simple. No weapons are to be used, no guns fired, no explosives, and no bionic arms that cause status effects. There's going to be a slight amount of leeway when it comes to buddies, air support, and other soldiers dealing friendly fire. Those people are not me, so therefore it's fine. I can use decoys and magazines since they're not actually designed for damage or injury, they're more in the way of distraction. Other than that though, it's all down to the fisties. Punching, choking, kicking, throwing, whatnot, it's all fair game. Also, this will not be about S ranks, all tasks, pure stealth and all that, because it's actually impossible to get all tasks done only using your hands. Unless you were to use some of the other bionic arm upgrades and stuff that like fly through the air, then you might be able to, but if you're just going for a basic CQC playthrough, it's actually impossible to get 100%. Anyway, the rules are set, let's go punch people in the face. The first time we even get a chance to use a weapon is when Ishmael gives you a pistol in the very first mission. In this instance, you are actually forced to kill 2 XOF soldiers who are blocking your way. See, Ishmael over here will pop out a little bit, but he won't actually do anything, so you're going to have to kill these 2 soldiers by yourself. Already, fission mailed. Or is it? You see, it's widely known that Ishmael here doesn't actually do anything, and it's all down to you, which is actually a part of several theories which state that Ishmael might not even be here. Ooh, interesting. However, if you cuddle up to the cover over here and just wait a little while, Ishmael will eventually pop out and kill the soldiers for you. That's nice of him. The next room is full of XOF soldiers, but you can just run straight through them, that's no problem. Next up, Ocelot hands you a shotgun and tells you to hold off the man on fire. But of course, we're not going to be using the gun. Oh. Well, maybe there's a way around this. Maybe there's something I can do to avoid his fire. Well, it seems as if I'm gonna have to use this weapon. Bollocks. Well, I suppose it's not lethal and the moth is fine. It's just used to make him back off. But I'll still count it because I have fired a weapon. Shameful. We're alright from here on in. I can just hit the baddies in the head and hold them up as and when I feel like it. I would say that hold-ups are fine since I'm only holding a gun and I'm using it as a threat. You know, the gun's never going to be fired, but they don't know that. Our first real hurdle comes in the mission C2W, where you have to destroy some comms equipment in an outpost. Now I tried many things here. To destroy this thing, I tried punching it, I tried throwing a dude at it, I tried hitting the wall with a truck, I tried getting the truck to explode next to it in various different ways. I even tried getting the soldiers to destroy it for me, but it seems that friendly fire does not exist when it would actually be useful. So, regrettably, the only thing I can do here is to throw a grenade at the radio. You could make the argument that because I'm not using the weapon to cause harm, then it shouldn't count, but I have used the weapon, so it's being counted. Bollocks. But from here, it's all fine, with no issues. I've just got to make sure that I pick up the right prisoner in one of the missions so I can develop the Cargo +2 Fulton so that I can lift the tanks and vehicles away. Now that'll make things much easier in the future. Speaking of the future, the next couple missions involve tanks and vehicles. Occupation Forces isn't too bad, since we can just choke the dude out and use him to block the road, and then we can lift the things away. Perfect, great tactic. Back up, back down, however, is a little bit more complicated. If you wanted to get all the vehicles done, then you will have to figure out some method of stopping the vehicles in their tracks, maybe using a truck or several trucks, or there's ways around it. However, you only really need to take away one of these vehicles for the mission to be complete, and therefore that's all I really had to do. I suppose you could use D-Horse as well, but I'm lazy, usually when I play this mission I shoot the sides of the vehicles, which makes them stop, and I usually do that in like unorthodox places, so it's a bit easier. But of course I can't do that. For me this mission is kind of muscle memory that I'm not even allowed to use. Moving on. It's time to get sniped by Quiet. I think everybody knows this trick though. We just mark her, call in a supply drop on her head, pop up when the marker says like 10-ish, and then bonk! Do it once more and you is winner, with no weapons used. Fantastic. Almost directly after this mission we encounter a problem. A very large problem. Sahelanthropus. I get the feeling that this Metal Gear will be the downfall of this challenge. Oddly enough though, I encountered a glitch where it wouldn't see me, but it knew where I was, so I couldn't actually escape the area. That was very bizarre, and I've never seen that glitch before. How strange. Anyway, yeah, you have to shoot Sahelanthropus here with the Gatling turret on the side of the chopper. There's no two ways around it. You have to shoot this big robot. Now of course you could make the argument that I'm shooting a machine, a robot, so it's kind of similar to when I destroyed the radio equipment all those minutes ago, but still, I have fired a weapon. Add it to the tally. Bollocks. Finally. After so many missions of forcing my hand, I can finally get back to being a pure pacifist who doesn't even touch weapons, apart from the ones that are on my hip. But let's ignore those. Although I am curious whether or not a pacifist would punch a child in the face. Something to ponder on, I suppose. But for now, it's back to being moderately peaceful. Well, right after pitch dark, which requires us to blow up an oily water separator tank. And no, we can't punch it or kick it. I've tried. It has to be blown up. You can't even drive a car into it because there's a gate that prevents it. It also seems that there's a weird force field around the tank, because whenever I called down an airstrike, it seemed to blow up mid-air. How strange. So that means I can't even get someone else to do it for me. So, regrettably, gotta throw a grenade. I could repeat the argument that it's not doing harm to a human, but still, weapon used. Bollocks. Finally, no more issues for a while. I can just carry on with my fisting and be happy. How long do you think that'll last? Well, let me tell you, not very long. Traitor's Caravan is the next hurdle, although it's only a slight hurdle, because this mission involves the skulls. Thankfully, the skulls are not immediately aggressive, and you can just sort of scoot around the side and lure them a little bit. And if you're an absolute stealth legend, you can steal the truck right out from under their fat noses. I imagine that if the skulls were to catch you, then maybe the mission would be a little bit trickier, but I'm a pro, so I'll never know. I'm going to take a quick little detour here and recruit Quiet. Generally, I don't find Quiet too useful, because the way I play is not really suited for her style. However, I'd like to try and use her for some trickier situations. I'll let you know how that one works out in the future. Blood Runs Deep is our next issue. It doesn't sound too bad. All we have to do is extract a soldier and 5 kids. But mate, let me tell you, these kids, they never listen to a word you say. They are the main source of frustration here. They often just run ahead and get themselves killed, even though you've explicitly said to stay where you are, and that's why I'm using them as a weapon. Does that count? Nah. Not to mention that there's a bloody helicopter patrol in the area. You get absolutely surrounded by enemies, which normally is fine, since you can just tranquilize them when you're holding the injured kid. However, that's not applicable here. After a few dozen tries, I decided it'd probably just be best to get spotted by the enemy and knock everyone's heads off. Anyway, yeah, those kids, I don't like them. Moving on. The mission, Voices, which is all easy peasy stealth mode as usual. But here, we have our arch nemesis, the Moth. I actually ballsed up a tactic I was thinking of using here, where I was going to see if I could make him knock himself into this little pool in the middle here. But as I say, I ballsed that one up. So I had to make him break the water towers himself, which is easy enough. You just run around it and he'll eventually decide to injure himself. The trouble is, I'm not attacking Psycho Mantis, so the Moth will never stop attacking me. If I'd knocked him into the pool in the middle, he would have been permanently out of commission. However, that didn't work, so I'm going to have to improvise. Thankfully, the Moth is a mindless Mong, so he tends to just get a little bit stuck. Terrific. That was the last mission where Quiet will be used for quite some time. I got her bond up enough so I can develop her big weapon, which may or may not even be used. I guess we'll see. I have a theory for it, which is why I've done it, but I guess we'll find out. Back to my best buddy, D-Doge. The mission Retake the Platform only using CQC is quite fun because the really close quarters nature of the platform makes for some really interesting combat. I also tried to CQC Mosquito and extract him, but it kinda went a little bit wrong. Oops. As for Liquid, little baby Eli, we've had good practice. Our CQC is top notch. His, not so much. I like this mission because you get to punch some kids. Speaking of which, I accidentally ran over one of the kids, so I had to restart the mission and then knock them all out again, which was a shame. No issues here for a little while. Most encounters are simple enough. You just knock them down, hold them up, whatever it takes, you know. However, right after we save Code Talker, we have a little bit of an issue. The mission, Metallic Archaea. This mission requires us to fight 4 armoured skulls. Now this is where Quiet's going to come in handy with her big fat weapon. Obviously I can't attack them with any of the weapons that are strewn around the airport, like the Gatling gun thing, the AA turret, and the minigun thing, whatever it is. I don't know. I can't use those. I can't use my guns, and punches and kicks are ineffective. So it seems we're at a roadblock unless we use Quiet. Quiet can just defend me as I'm dancing around the area. What an absolute legend. You can also counter-attack the guys. You know, I technically am using our weapon, but I'm more using their weapon against them. It's non-lethal, you know, it's dealing damage I suppose, but it's non-lethal and it's in defense. So I'm not going to count that one. You know, it's more of a protect yourself type thing, you know. As for the Skullface mission, I'm just going to use the El Clasico S-Rank method. You get D-Walker, and you just rush right through the middle. It's cheap, but it works. The last mission of Act 1 is to fight Sahelanthropus, this game's Metal Gear. You know, it's a little bit tricky to fight this behemoth only using your fists, so I'm going to have to call in a little bit of help. Quiet will be in the corner there, just shooting every now and then, and the chopper will come in periodically to lend a hand. I made a bit of a mistake here by thinking I had to call the chopper in via the normal methods. That's not correct. The way you actually do it is you go to the chopper menu and call in air support. See, I forgot this, so this mission took a little bit longer than it should have. Either way, the chopper does come in by itself every so often, so even though I was an absolute idiot, it still kind of worked out. But yeah, I have to just rely on my dodging skills and hope that Quiet and Pequod will do the bulk of the damage. There were actually quite a lot of close calls, which, you know, I guess it's kind of to be expected when you're trying to fight a massive robot with a water pistol that I can't even shoot. But still, the health was whittled down, and eventually, after much deliberation, we destroyed Sahelanthropus. Well, Quiet did. I mostly just watched. As for Skullface here, we're supposed to pull the trigger on this really gorgeous shotgun and kill this bad boy, but we can't use weapons, so that won't be happening. Kaz? No, we're not doing that. No shooting allowed, not even in cutscenes. Skip. And that is Chapter 1 complete. A lot of people would consider Chapter 1 as the real ending, since it mostly wraps everything up in terms of gameplay, but I can't just leave it there, can I? I've come this far. Let's go all the way. Chapter 2 doesn't really have that many unique missions. Most of them are like extreme variants or total stealth or subsistence. Extreme just means the enemies deal more damage, there's no reflex mode, and the enemies are often a little bit more aware of their surroundings. Subsistence means that you go in with no equipment, which is fine since we're basically doing that anyway. And the total stealth missions, I still don't know what those mean. So essentially there's nothing really new to say. These are all missions we've done before. They're just a little bit harder this time. Although I say that, sometimes they're exactly the same in every way. Oh, tell a lie, there's actually another problem. Proxy war without an end. This mission requires us to take out a helichopper, which I can't really fist it out of the sky. However, somebody can drop a bomb on it. That somebody is an anonymous member of my support team. You know, I may have said it's okay to drop the bomb, and I may have told them where to place this bomb, but I didn't actually physically do it myself. So does it count? I'll add a 0.5 since it was kinda me. You know, I played a role in it, I suppose. Bollocks. There's one final hurdle before the real-ish ending of the game, and that is the mission Shining Lights Even in Death, which generally requires you to put every staff member who is infected out of their misery. Using a gun filled with bullets. Bullets that cause death. So as you can see, we've hit another wall here. I tried a lot of things. I tried waiting, I tried knocking them out. You can only knock out the first 3 people. It seems as though there really is no way to get past this. So I'm gonna have to use my weapon. I know this is meant to be a really emotionally charged scene where your soldiers are suffering and you have to put them out of their misery before they die a very painful death. But you know what's worse? We used a gun, and that is more hurtful to me. Once again, bollocks. So here we are, the real final mission, a Quiet exit. Quiet sits up there and starts popping people. Obviously, as we know, that's not me, so that's fine. But if I just sit here and let Quiet do all the work, she is eventually going to get turned into mush. So I kind of have to do something. Thankfully, I developed the parasite suit, and I have some of the armor parasites. These are not weapons. In fact, they are the complete opposite of weapons, since all they do is make you hard. So I can just run at all these armoured vehicles and extract them. There is a slight problem when the helicopter shows up, but I'm just going to have to rely on Quiet for that and kinda hope for the best. So, that's it. All missions done, and here be the stats. Can you beat Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, without using weapons? No, you can't. You have to use a weapon at some point in the game. If you've got any other challenges that you'd like to issue me for other games, not just Metal Gear Solid 5, if you have, let me know, and I'd probably do them. Maybe. Bye!
During this challenge, it would seem that the PlayStation 4 Metal Gear Solid 5 community has disarmed every nook. Well done, ladies and gents. Big salute to you from your main man, Mei Ling.